Hello, hello. So this has been a fun month, man. I've just done so many Vulpera. Like this has been my furriest month ever. So we did two pictures of Arazi, we did a picture of Rye, and then of course we did Garth, which is a Worgen, but still that counts as, the furries. So let me see. I don't think I did any other anthro characters this month. Just those guys. But yeah. Yeah, because then there was the half orc, there was the Drakthir lady, and there was that human lady. But yeah. And oh yeah, and I did a night elf. Let's see. Oh, I got some music queued up. It's probably not copyright free, but it is World of Warcraft like lo-fi remixes, so I wonder if I might get away with playing this in the background. So we're gonna just, do that. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Ooh, unsuccessful dungeons. It's always painful when you wind up getting like a bad pug. Whether it's dungeons or battlegrounds or LFR. I've been through some horrendous pugs in my day. They would make your skin crawl. Jade Serpent Temple and the healer just could not cut it. Oh, man. Yeah. Wow. So, of course, as always, I started the pre-sketch part off stream. And this is what we got. So this is Arazi crafting one of those new like Dragonflight Earth elemental thingies. My challenge today though was like I really wanted to be able to like log on to WoW and go find one of the elementals and take pictures of it with Narcissus to be able to like angle it and pose it in different ways, but alas, I couldn't do that, so I just had to basically look them up on Google, find as many different pictures, and just try and like find the one that would look the best like he's sculpting it. So this is the one that I ended up choosing. It has like the amethyst geode kind of thing in the chest. And I had like a couple of other reference pictures that I took of Arazi for the previous commission, so I kind of Frankenstein together like several different pictures and then did a whole bunch of like editing to make it all flow together. And here's what we have. So this is a deluxe sketch, so what I gotta do next is start the thicker outlines to refine everything, and then do the sketchy lines, and then the deluxe shading. And here's the reference pictures. So I got an idea of like the fur pattern and all that good stuff, so I know like where the shading needs to go. And of course I put my other picture that I made. That was like the reference to remember where the scars are. So there's the scar on the face, and then the scar that goes around the upper arm. So there we go. I'm gonna put this here. So this is the reference I found for the elemental. So that way Okay, let's see where the shading's gonna be. Why do you have a Trap WoW remix playlist? I was just looking up like WoW lo-fi music, and the only one I could find was like the Shadowlands one, and then I saw this. And it said World of Warcraft and lo-fi, so I clicked on it. And I guess that's what this is, so... I don't even know what trap music is, honestly. I'm guessing it's just some kind of like techno remix or something. Or is it techno rap? Is that what trap stands for? I'm just taking a guess here because I don't know. Like I said, I just was looking up some stuff on YouTube that I could probably get away with playing to avoid like copyright, whatever. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is the little... This is this thing. That's what that's supposed to be. He's basically, like, crafting it with shaman magic, like earth elemental magic. So that's what's supposed to be going on here. He's crafting this little mini version of the earth elementals. Why is there so many gunshots in this remix? You know what? I'm just gonna put on the Shadowlands lo-fi remix thing anyway. Why not? Yeah, I actually noticed that Arazi and Rai have similar faces, just different patterns and colors. Cause Rai also has like the stripe pattern, but you both have like the same like fur thing here. You know, the little thing with the dot, the swoosh with the dot, and the little white patches on the forehead and everything. So yeah, you guys do have the like similar little fur thing going on. That short snout is very cute. Yeah, I think, yeah, Arazi might have, like, the longer ears than Rai, because Rai's are a little shorter. But yeah, they both have some similarities in their design. Alright, so I am going to start thickening the outlines of things to bring out, you know, the details. Like right now, all the lines are very, very thin because it was just my very first sketch. So I want to make sure that there's some clarity here, because when you have a lot of detail all packed into a very thin line art, like, it's hard to discern every little thing you're looking at. So we're gonna fix that. That is the artist's job, to bring clarity and clean lineliness, because I have no other vocabulary to describe what I'm doing. Clean lineliness we're putting in. Like, I just made up a new word. There you go. Like, it's not a line art, it's clean lineliness. Let's see, Rise had the luck of not being in a lot of combat after Vol'dun, but he awakened his elemental connection out of a shared desire for vengeance between himself and the desert towards the faithless. Even the air listened to him because the sky colors abused Sethralis's elemental power, but water is still his weakness 6 years later. Water doesn't like to work with him. Well, it's one of those kind of, it's like, you know, if you ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, like, for Aang, it was connecting to fire that was the hardest element for him because he was air, and fire is like the farthest opposite of air. And Rai, he strikes me as like, you know, the lightning fire type, so water is like the opposite element of that. So it would be harder to tap into, I imagine. So he has to meditate and really work to make that spiritual connection to the elements of water. You know, he has to go on a character developing adventure. That is how we do. I hope nobody's getting PTSD from, like, Shadowlands music, because I mean, unless they've made some, like, nice, like, lo-fi remixes for Dragonflight music, I would play it, you know, if it existed. My RP partner, like, decided to just do a time skip and, like, just fast forward right out of Shadowlands. Like, we were doing, like, a death cult scenario that was related to Shadowlands. And, yeah, we're just like, let's just move on. Let's just skip ahead 3 years. And so we did. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm glad. I'm really glad, because I can't do the Shadowlands thing anymore. Like, those two... Like, there was a point where our RP was, like, getting as boring as the expansion itself, and I was like, do we have to be following, like, the game timeline and plot line? Like, can we just, like, make up our own stories? And so we did. Because originally we had our characters, like, you know, actually go, like, first to Bastion and all that. We were, like, following the, you know, the storyline of the game, and I'm just like, it's not fun. Because we actually just started our roleplay during the pre-patch event, so everything began with, like, the Scourge invasion. So that was where our RP began. And we didn't know at that point that Shadowlands was going to be such a stinky expansion, so, like, we were excited at first, and then we quickly realized, like, oh, wow, this is something, I guess. I enjoyed doing Torghast RP, slogging through how awful things were in the different wings. Got so bad Arazi went back to Akunda and was like, please take away these memories. This sucked. I'll handle it later. That'd be so funny, like, to have your character just have amnesia like Shadowlands never happened. I just want to forget. No, it never happened. I feel like that's what, you know, Blizzard's trying to do with that expansion too, like make it like a distant memory. Like, yeah, that none of that happened. Just forget about it. Just shh, it's okay. Just a bad dream. He straight up forgot he was a Mawwalker until recently. A lot of players knee-jerk because knew you can't be important in any way. That's the one thing, like, for the past few expansions, like, I don't want my character to be this, like, superhero, you know? Like, I like the beginning of WoW, like vanilla WoW, where everybody is just some grunt. And you have to, like, make your own story, you know, find your own destiny. But, like, nobody is super duper important to the lore of the actual game itself. You're just a soldier, either of the Horde or the Alliance, and, you know, you're just kind of helping. But you're not, like, the chosen one. Because I will say, like, being the chosen one after a while was definitely getting old. It's like, I really don't feel like my character would be this kind of hero, you know? And and I also didn't think it'd be realistic for my character to be involved in, like, every single calamity of every single expansion. Like, you gotta take a break, you know? Like, you can't deal with, like, you know... Well, I started in Wrath, so her story starts with Wrath, but, you know, for her it's like dealing with the Scourge and the Lich King and all of that, and then, you know, Cataclysm. Oh, now we gotta deal with Deathwing and these, you know... cultists that want to end the world, and then after that it's like, oh, okay, now we gotta deal with some old gods and stuff, you know, go to Panda Land, and and then after that it's like, oh, now you gotta deal with the, you know, the timey-wimey warlords of Draenor, and oh, now you gotta deal with the Burning Legion is back. Oh my god, you know. It's like your character would be so burnt out and so riddled with PTSD from fighting so many, like, wars and dealing with so many world-shattering, nearly world-ending events, that your character would be like a drooling mess, like huddled in a corner with, like, the most terrible case of PTSD and shell shock. It just doesn't seem realistic. Like, you don't go from war to war to war to war without ever having a breather, without ever having a break, where your character just doesn't have, like, a life of their own. So I pretty much am very selective about, like, what Amalthera was actually involved in, what she did, you know, help with. And I'm definitely going to say it wasn't every single expansion worth of content, because that would be too much for one person to handle, you know? Like, I do say she is aware, like, obviously she knows of all the things that was going on in the world, but that doesn't mean she was being the champion, the hero, the savior. She didn't blast N'Zoth with a Kamehameha. And I thought that was really stupid, by the way. I was like, seriously? This is how we're going to take out, like the old god of all old gods, like with a freaking Kamehameha? What? Who wrote this? I'm sorry, it was really dumb. It was funny, but it was dumb. Just saying. Alright, let me read the chat here. Let's see. He's a shaman. He had to answer to the elements going out of whack when the planet was bleeding everywhere. We can do cool things and be part of the current conflicts without it being, I am the chosen one! Exactly. I like playing Big Damn Heroes. Wrath was a war story, yeah, but it was good. Cataclysm was also a war story, and you could do anything anywhere on the city level even. Cultists, enemy soldiers, zone plots, yeah. If you're part of all of it non-stop, you'd collapse. Agreed. Also, hello, Babone! No worries. Let's see. Morph has been in sorry, I'm struggling to speak. Morph has in-characterly been to the mall once, and it nearly killed him. Yeah, Amma was in the mall with everybody for not a very long time, because it was just absolutely horrible. And one of my characters, my Draenei Hunter Asenet, lost her brother in the mall. Like, he died. Well, he became, like, twisted and corrupted. But he probably ended up dying. He got left behind, you know. So, that's how that went. I killed a character in the maw. And then we had these two other characters who actually were, like, imprisoned in Torghast. So we had this RP where they basically had to do everything they could to try and escape. And so we were, like, RPing out, like, their big Torghast escape. But it took them, like, months to escape. And it was... They were really, like, super traumatized. Like, by, you know, when they finally got out of the maw and they got back to Azeroth, they literally had to just stop everything they were doing and just take time to just recover, like, mentally. So, like, they weren't participating in any more shenanigans after that. They were just kind of, like, retired for a bit. He never went back to the maw after that due to being rapidly aged. Oof. Lom went to the maw to try and find his soul. Bordy and another former friend helped get him out of there when he found out his target was already safe, but he was in deep trouble. That's where Lom's facial scars are from. Aw, a mawhound tore his eyes out. Eek. Bordy's amazing healing gifts are the only reason he still has eyes. Yay! Ordy's great. Ordy saves the day! But yeah, man, as soon as we could like move on from the Shadowlands RP, boy did we. Like we did our tour, we did our mall, we did our tour gas, all that stuff. And we're like, all right, we're done. And now I'm finally like just started RPing Nishante, and I'm just trying to like still figure out who like what her character is like. And I decided it would be fun to just have her like she goes to Azeroth, right? Or I mean she's already in Azeroth. I mean she goes to Stormwind or Gadurka. And she's like, you know, she needs to make some money because like you need currency to get by all throughout the world. You need gold and silver and copper. So she learns about the Brawlers Guild. And she just decides to check it out and just try her hand. So she goes to the Brawlers Guild to try and like win some money, just, you know, fighting. And she pretty much manages to defeat like everybody except she comes across this one human priest where she's pretty evenly matched. And they pretty much double KO'd each other and he ended up winning. But like he felt bad for her and decided to like split the winnings with her so that she had some kind of money. And then pretty much he's just like showing her around and all this stuff. So that's pretty much where the RP is at so far. So, yeah, there we go. My first RP with my Drakthir girl. Yeah, I heard that they might not do Brawlers Guild in the Dragonflight expansion. I don't know. So, maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Let's see, Morth ran into a sadistic bastard named Ruiger the Counter, who aged him by 300 years, and he was already 10,000 years. Ooh. Well, at least he's technically a night elf, so, you know, I mean, that is 300 years is a lot, but he can age a lot longer, you know? He can be many, like, I mean, some of these characters are like 20,000 years old. I don't know if they've established at this point, like, how long the average night elf lives. Like, what is their lifespan nowadays? I don't know. But I'm sure he's got, you know, a few years left. So... Yeah, it sounds like Morph needs to go on like a vacation. Like, he needs to go to a restful retreat and like learn how to take it easy, you know? I like that chronic hero syndrome. Well, I think at some point he's gonna have to relinquish some of that to like some other heroes, some more youthful heroes, like let them take the reins a little bit, you know? Like, you can't be expected to save the whole world all the time. He needs to learn how to let go. Aw. That is sad, man. He needs like some spiritual healing and therapy or something to help him overcome. Like, he has to like accept, you know, that yes, his wife died. Like, yes, it happened. He couldn't do anything to stop it. But like, he still has to He has to go through this character development where he like learns how to forgive himself so that he can move on, you know? It's a hard thing to do. Well, at least he's getting better, and he has support, so that's important. He'll get there eventually. Oh man, yeah, Amma has PTSD of when the scourge ripped through Quel'Thalas and murdered her parents, like right in front of her. Like, her parents just got munched by zombies. But Felendriel saved her and pretty much, like, adopted her after that. And that's how she became a Silvermoon Shadowblade, because he's, like, basically the leader of, you know, the Shadowblades in Silvermoon. And Amma, you know, wanted to get revenge on Arthas and everything. So that's how she became a rogue. Followed that path. Oh man, poor Fenrir. The Alliance burned down his village and slew his pregnant wife. Mega oof. Like, for my Nightborn mage character, Viserion, he had a pregnant wife too, and she was killed when the Legion invaded Suramar. When they were, like, burning down portions of the city, she got burned alive, so he has a lot of PTSD from that. What about Silverbrook Village? Oh, where Fenrir is from. Yeah, yeah. I was just, like, not sure why you, I was like, what? I know you mentioned for Fenrir's story. I'm like, did I misread something? I was really confused. I do remember that, though. Like, there is, like, I mean, I also know Silver Pine Forest, too. Like, there's that Shadowfang Keep, so there's, like, the Worgen stories going on there, and then there's the Worgen stories in Silverbrook Village, so... And who wants Gilneas to be a playable Alliance city? Like, wouldn't that be cool? Also, like, does anyone know the current state of Gilneas? Like, is it still, like, being fought over by the Forsaken? Or, like, do they own it now? Like, what's going on there? Shadowfang keep changing kata. It's unrelated to the Worgen post kata now. Yeah, I know. I'm just used to it before then. Gilneas is currently unclaimed. The Forsaken have claimed to want to discuss handing it back. Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, because I'm just like, what's going on with that? I mean, if they want to make peace, that would be a very good move. This is mentioned by Kalia on the Darkfallen questline into Shadowlands. Which I did that questline, but I have a terrible memory. I really do have a terrible memory. Because I only did the quest once and it was like a couple months ago now, so like I don't remember all the dialogue and whatnot. But I do love the Darkfallen appearances. They're very nice. Oh, okay, I did it Horde side, so I didn't know it was only mentioned Alliance side. That explains it, because here I'm thinking, like, how did I miss that? Because I don't remember that at all. At least as the Alliance, you have the discussion with the Horde leaders at the start. Ah. Gotcha. Yeah, usually I do everything on Amma, so I always just see the Horde side of things, so like a lot of times people bring up stuff that happens in the lore, and I'm like, when did that happen? They're like, oh, it's during this quest. I'm like, really? I don't remember that. I must have a bad memory. And I do have a bad memory. But, like, I just completely forget, like, the Alliance and the Horde get, like, slightly different stories. Or, like, they get different perspectives on, like, the same story. The Forsaken one, I hand back a blighted crap hole. It's kind of funny. I mean, well, they're working to get the blight out of there, you know. But yeah. Lordaeron needs a little bit of work right now. Oh, just a little bit. Like, Tirisfal Glades has seen better days. I'd assume that the Forsaken will at least try to cleanse the blight first. Maybe a time of healing finally. Yeah. Like, I know they're definitely trying. Like, they managed to secure the top level of Undercity. So, if they can clean up that much blight, then they can keep going. It's just gonna take time. But they'll get it eventually. But the question is, like, are they going to make Lordaeron back into an Alliance city? Or are they just gonna make it be, like, the home for all of, like, the Darkfallen, like Kalia and her group sort of thing? Or is it just going to go back to the Forsaken? Because Gilneas is one thing, but, like, Undercity, that's, like, a whole other thing. What are your thoughts, guys? How do you think this lore is gonna play out? And, or how would you like it to play out? Darkfallen of Alliance races are allowed to head home to the Alliance. Yeah, I have an alliance, Dark Fallen Elf that I did RP a little bit in Stormwind, and I expected people to be hostile towards me and not want my character around, you know? But surprisingly, everybody was like really nice to me and really chill. So I didn't really have any bad experiences. Like, I wasn't reviled. Nobody threw rotten tomatoes at me. Just like, hey, what's up? It was like just any other casual walk-up RP, but I just happened to be a Dark Fallen Ranger, so it's like, okay. Everybody was cool about it. Ooh, I like that. Boot fist. If there was any play that would absolutely destroy the Alliance, it would be using the Forsaken as sleeper agents and getting them into the Alliance. Delari lives in Dalaran because she doesn't want to be attacked by random races. That makes sense. People keep bringing Keldori, Dark Fallen. Yeah, see, you have to spin it like you're somehow a Void Elf and you became Dark Fallen, which is what I did. Like, does it make any sense? No, really doesn't. But you know what? I don't care. Not Keldori, the ones off to return. 2, we're super salty if anyone reacted badly to them. I didn't enjoy most Dark Fallen RP because it kept being super like, you can't be mad at us, like how? Yeah. Most edgy roleplay is, I want the tension of playing something edgy, but I will high road anything that contests my edge. See, for me, I literally went into Stormwind playing, a Dark Fallen Void Elf, basically. And that's just my spin on it. It's like, yep, I was an Alliance Elf, and I got turned. I'm undead now. Here you go. I was not a Blood Elf. I was a Void Elf, or at least like a High Elf, or what. But I was an Alliance Elf. And people accepted it. Like, literally nobody gave me any trouble in the RP at all. So, and I actually had a lot of fun RPing on her. Like, people were pretty chill towards me. So, and it's not like I was like acting edgy or RPing being a total depressing edgelord kind of undead character. Like, I behaved pretty normally, I guess you could say. Just being sociable, friendly. Like, just because you're undead doesn't mean you gotta act like, super depressing and morose or something, You can play your characters in any number of ways. Then there's this one guy who RP'd a Dark Fallen Worgen. Oh boy. I feel like everybody now is just gonna make Dark Fallen everything. I mean, technically, if you think about it, with Death Knights, it's like every race can be undead. The only thing that makes Dark Fallen the way they are is they have red eyes, but they're still undead, undead is undead. It just, the only thing different between them is who made them and how the circumstances under which they got made. But like, tomato, maybe this is a hot take, but all undead are just, they're undead. I mean, you know, they got made undead in different ways by different means, but the state of being undead is the same regardless of how you got there, you know what I'm saying? So like, if somebody wants to be, you know, an undead worgen and have red glowing eyes, what's the difference between them being that and a worgen death knight? I mean, they got made undead somehow. Like, we already established that Azeroth has a lot of undead beings of all different kinds of races, so I don't really have any problem with it. I'm like, you know, you do whatever you want to do. Because, like, the lore is a little bit malleable, you know, it could be a little flexible. So I wouldn't get too bent out of shape. So, I mean, sure, it might be a little bit silly, but as long as they're having fun, you know, that's the point of roleplay. Make a story, have fun, create some characters. See, the strategy I use most of the time when someone plays a necromancer in the middle of Stormwind, or is secretly a murderer but is terrible at hiding their secret, or role-playing a cult in the middle of Stormwind, is ignoring it. Like, yeah, when I play my, like, warlock characters, too, it's like, I know you just can't openly be, like, summoning demons and stuff, you know? Like, there's certain things I get, like, there should be limits to, like, it, depending on where you are and what your character is, like, you know, you're not just gonna be prancing through, like, Orgrimmar as a harpy, which I did once just for fun. I wasn't really role-playing, but I did it just to see how much the role-players would freak out about it. And boy, did they. They're like, oh my god, there's a harpy, kill it. But I thought it was really funny, so that's what I did. Let's see, part of the issue the Forsaken had with Gilneas was explicitly the fact the Worgen could not be made undead by any basic means. Let's see. And they resist the plague. There are some absolute sweetheart Forsaken out there. Death Knights are a specific method of undead or methods. Worgen resist necromancy. See, the Worgen lore explicitly says Worgen are not able to be raised into undeath by normal means. Death Knights are not normal means. Method of creating undead is very important. The lore is not that big. Oh, I get you. That's why I said it's a hot take, but my view is that at the end of the day, regardless of the method, if you're undead, you're undead, you know? Like, that's basically all I'm saying. Like, you were alive and now you're dead, and now you're kind of like in between life and death. You're undead. Whether you were created that way, you know, via the Lich King, or necromancy, or, you know, I don't know what other methods there really are, but I'm no expert. I'm just saying, a zombie is a zombie. So if somebody wants to RP being undead, although I see your point though about the Worgen, because like if they're supposed to resist becoming undead aside from Death Knights, then I guess I see the point about people being upset about seeing like a dark fallen Worgen, you know? So that makes sense to me. Like if they can't become undead by any other means than by being a Death Knight, then that would be breaking the lore for sure. So I get the point there. But, you know, I'm not a stickler for, when I roleplay, like I said, I roleplay in private on Discords with my friends, so, like, we're not sticklers for following every little bit of lore exactly to the letter. Like, we do bend the lore as we see fit, and we've introduced, you know, D&D stuff into RPs and whatnot. So, like, the way I see it when it comes to roleplay, like, if you see somebody RPing something that breaks the lore or something that you think is really dumb, or, like, you don't like it, then, you know, like what Torin or, you know, Bootfist said, like, just ignore them. That's what I do. Like, when I saw somebody playing a giant insect in the middle of Orgrimmar and their TRP said they're currently molting their exoskeleton, I just kind of noped right out of that tavern. I'm like, yeah, I'm not RPing with that person. Like, I'm not interested in giant molting insectoids. Like, I don't know if they were supposed to be a Klaxi or those arachnid type things, you know. Can't think of what they're called right this second. But yeah, like, if I see somebody who's doing some weird thing with their character that I just don't like, then I'm just like, yeah, I'll just pass you by. Let's see, reading up the chat here. While all necromancy comes from the magic of death, the methods death is channeled change how they influence someone. And yeah, undeath is undeath, but I'm saying that the method is still important. So the way can be lore breaking. Just because you're undead doesn't mean you can just say, I'm undead because the Forsaken raised me as a worgen and be lore abiding. Yep, totally get you there. And then you could say the Drakthir are all genderless and their visages are just holdover from their draconic creators, and players will still give them massive... Oh, I'm not reading that part. I will argue lore on a discussion basis because I like to be as abiding as possible, but I won't push people to stick to lore openly. See, like, if I'm RPing, like, in the game, usually I don't really bend the lore. I don't do anything too crazy, although, like, I guess, you know, the Void Elf Dark Fallen was bending the lore a bit, but I was just having fun playing that character. And nobody seemed to care. Like, nobody got upset by it. That I know of. So, you know, it's whatever. And like I said, like, anybody who doesn't like that just doesn't have to walk up and RP with me. Like, if, you know, you see that kind of character and you're like, that doesn't match the lore. You have to be a night elf. Dark fallen elf to be in Stormwind. You can't be any other kind of elf. Like, I get it. I totally get it. Based on, you know, the way things went, where that's how it is in the game. But, you know, just, it is whatever. RP can be malleable. And again, I didn't have, like, surprisingly, I didn't have anybody being upset. I honestly expected people to be upset with that character, but nobody was, so I was like, okay, I guess I could RP this. And then when I had to come down and explain it, like, it's like, oh boy, this is really bending some lore here. But, she's a void elf and she died and got raised, and there you go. That's how that happened. Wrong place, wrong time. You know what I'm saying? Let's see, where are we here? Checking the chat. I'll let people RP as they please, live and let live, but if we're discussing RP, I'll dig in a bit, discussing lore. Oh, and I getcha. I getcha. The only lore bit I enforce with Darkfallen, and pretty much only in character, is you aren't welcome no matter what you say, but I don't antagonize over it. Arazi walks into Stormwind. Let's see, willing to maybe work with them, proving they can. People don't care about what. So Vulpera walks into Stormwind and nobody cares. They shout slurs and say, I want to kick it. Aww. People will just shrug at the Vulpera. Wow, people are really mean to them. The only combat RP I ever did that was not great was a Naruto RP back in Second Life. And oh man, that was tedious. Because we had to RP out, you know, all of our combat stuff so we could go up the ranks. Because we actually had to do the ninja school and everything. And then work our way up the ninja ranks just like they did in the anime. So we had to have like really long RP combat sessions with like multiple different people. And it was a pain in the butt and it wasn't fun. But otherwise, for my WoW RPs, whenever I've RP'd out combat scenes, they were usually pretty exciting and fun. Like, I think it really all boils down to who you're RPing with. Because some people are just not great at writing combat. Like, they don't write out very clearly what they're doing, or they might god mode or something. Like, they don't know when to take a hit, and then the fight could just go on and on and on forever. So honestly, when it comes to combat RP, it really is a lot about who you're RPing with. Because it could go really well and it could be really fun, but it just depends, you know, if the person writing it knows how to write it and do it well. And if you really want to like try and make things more fair, you could always try like a roll system. Like you could RP it out, but you could also like roll a dice or use an in-game roll to determine if an attack is effective or not, just to kind of even the playing field maybe and make things a little bit more fair. So there are ways, you know, that you could improve combat RP so it's not so bad. Let's see, reading up the chat here. If so many people didn't take 8 minutes of post, my attention span would hold. Oh my god, I have my RP partners take like half an hour to an hour between posts, and that drives me nuts. Like, I just wish that they would, you know, focus. Like, can we have like one solid hour to RP where you're not distracted and disappearing and AFKing, so we could actually get something done rather than like 2 posts a week? Because that's pretty much where it's at right now. So, like, if you have to wait 8 minutes between each post, you're lucky compared to what I'm getting. problem with combat RP is that the moment it starts in Stormwind, suddenly everyone has to get involved, even when they shouldn't. Oh, wow. Yeah, see, I've never done a combat RP in the game. Like, I've only done it in my Discord roleplays and when it's necessary. And me and my RP partners always decide, like, who's gonna get hit when, and sometimes we do use the dice to decide things as well, so, like, we're pretty good with it. What is SCA? Stormwind Law Project, Stormwind Crown Association. Huh. I'm just reading the chat. Sorry I'm slow, I read slow. Oh, man. The guard law groups are dumb. They had a civil war in Stormwind because Anduin is missing. Oh my. Yeah, so these are the groups that I've been hearing about. Are they the same groups that, like, hate Drakthir, too? Like, I remember, like, when Dragonflight just came out, you guys were saying there's some crazy groups that are, like, super anti-Drakthir. Or something. Unless this is some other RP groups. But are these like law groups where they pretend to be like Stormwind guards or something? This is how much like I don't RP in the game. It's like I never notice this stuff. Like I pretty much mostly RP in Discord. So I don't have to deal with people's shenanigans. I can just tell a good story and just have fun. Which is what I prefer when I roleplay. Like I don't really want to deal with shenanigans and strangers, you know, people I don't know. I mean, yeah, okay, you can find good RP partners sometimes, but a lot of the times it's just a bunch of really annoying people that I'd rather not RP with. Or, you know, people who are just not super good at storytelling and don't have very interesting characters and they're kind of boring. I get a lot of that too. You get these people who don't say much and they just kind of stand there and occasionally they're like the peanut gallery RP. They're not adding anything to the scene. Their character isn't really all that interesting. Like I get a lot of that and I'm just like, oh, this is so boring. Like, not judging people, like, saying that they're bad writers, it's just they're not putting out anything interesting in the world RP, so I get bored. I'm like, eh. That's why I get really bored with small talk RP and, like, tavern RP, and, you know, just walking up in a bar, sitting at a table, just talking to random people, and they're not really talking about anything interesting, there's no story happening, and I'm just like, ugh. We have all of Azeroth and so many fun and adventurous things that could be happening, yet people are sitting here just talking about nothing at all. And that drives me up a wall so much. That's why I just don't RP in the game hardly at all. Mostly because it's boring. Most of the time. And I'm not in like an RP guild, so I don't get to see like any actual interesting stories develop in the game. I always just see random small talk and like walk-ups, and sometimes it's fun, but most of the time for me it's just super boring. So I just don't do it. correct here. Clan group is probably a different group. Stormwind guards, nobles, politicians, ambassadors. But yeah, I don't know, like, if you guys experience that a lot, where just random walk-up RPs more often than not are either just frustrating or really boring. But that's kind of my experience in general. They're either frustrating or boring. And I can't really, like, express my character, like, who they are, what kind of story I'd like to develop with my character in a random walk-up. Most walk-ups I get are just in-character guild invites. I also get, like, if you're not the kind of if you're shy and you're not the kind of person to walk up and just start RPing, and you're just sitting there with your TRP on waiting for somebody to interact with you, you're gonna be sitting there all day. Like, people just don't, you know? And I'm a little more on the shy side. Like, I don't really like to just walk up and randomly initiate RP. So I definitely feel for the wallflower RPers that just sit there, you know, at the tables or just stand around outside waiting for people to RP with them. And it looks like they're just sitting there all day and nobody RPs with them. I'm like, you poor thing. It's really sad. I do not get walk-ups because I'm not patient enough to sit around and wait for someone to come to me. People generally don't. I'd approach you if I was on the Horde more often. See. I also never do anything in Orgrimmar anymore because it's F-tier RP spot. There's a whole world, and Wormrust Accord Horde uses one chunk of an entire city. I know. It's sad, really. I don't walk up to people not because I'm shy, but because I generally don't have reasons to approach most people. And I also tend to get missed when I do. And for me, like in Orgrimmar, there's like the world RP in Orgrimmar is difficult. I mean, I know there's add-ons for this, but like the chat is just flying. There's like so much chat. So if I try to RP with people near the Wyvern's Tail, if there's like a lot of people on RPing, I miss people's responses because the chat just flies like so bad. And I have the elephant add-on so I could like go back and like review chat and copy paste and all that, but I know, I forget what the other add-on is to make it so you only see the chat of certain people so that your RP doesn't get buried, but it's like, yeah, it's hard. Because like, when you got a lot of people all RPing in one spot and, you know, people are jumping into your RP and there's just so much text flying up my screen, and then it disappears after so many posts. It's like I just can't keep up with it because I don't read very fast. Like I admit it, I'm a slow reader. I always have been. So, and when my screen is exploding with text, I just kind of get overwhelmed. I'm like, oh, let's like move to a more secluded area, or maybe RP in party chat or in whispers or something, because like I'm losing the text here. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but it gets tough to keep up with. I still RP in org sometimes, but I like to look for reasons to get out of there. Wormrest Accord Ally is dead. Like, I forget. I think it died in Shadowlands. But yeah, there's like, if you want to RP as Wormrest Accord Ally, forget it. It used to be pretty strong. Heard a whole lot of mixed opinions of Wormrest Accord Ally. They died and all went to Moonguard. Oh, enjoy your dinner, Baboon! It's hilarious because apparently a lot of people came to Moonguard either because it was already too quiet or because they were escaping problems. You know, it's funny, just the role players are constantly shuffling back and forth between Moonguard and Wormrest Accord. Like, really, it's all the same batch of people. So much oof drama on all sides. All the problems went to Moonguard, pretty much. Hilarious, people fled the problems and then they followed them. All the crime guilds too, the major cult guilds, one of them Morgan. Ooh. Yeah, they pretty much just go back and forth between the servers, you know? Like, if they get ostracized in one server, then they slink off to the other server, and then they get ostracized on that server, and then they slink back to their original server. It's kind of funny. But, like, they're gonna be taking their drama wherever they go, you know? I've seen plenty of drama on both servers, but I will say Wormrest Accord Horde definitely does take the cake sometimes. I feel like Moonguard is somehow more tame. At least from the things that I've seen. But I'm sure Moonguard has its stories, you know? This is why I just ignore 90% of public RP. All crowd style RP goes to shit immediately, always. Yeah, it does. I only grab one-on-one RP and usually only RP with friends. Yeah, see, that's me. That's what I do. Because the in-world, you know, crowd RP, like whatever's going on at the Wyvern's Tail or this or that, it's like, it's awful. Like, I usually just kind of lurk and I read a little bit of the RP that's going on, and most of it just sucks. Like, last time, there was, like, a Drakthir that was, like, bugging this one Demon Hunter player, and she was being really hostile to the Drakthir, and you could tell it was, like, out of character hostility. Like, basically telling them to back the F up, you know? Like, go RP with somebody else, you know, leave me alone. And this Drakthir person was remaining in character and just constantly, like, bugging this, you know, Demon Hunter lady. And I was streaming while this was going on, I think. So I was just, like, kind of like, what in the world? You know, like, clearly this person doesn't want to RP with you, so you should probably, like, leave them alone. And this person just would, this Drakthir person would just not stop, like, RP instigating stuff with this Demon Hunter. And it was pretty, something else to watch. But that's mostly what I do. I just kind of lurk, and I just watch the shenanigans go down, but I don't actually, like, participate, and I don't interact with most of these people. Once in a very blue moon, I'll see somebody that has, like, a TRP that genuinely interests me, but, you know, most of the time I don't try and look for more RP partners, because, like, I can't even keep up with the ones I have, so... And occasionally we get people who whisper me while I'm streaming and want to pay me 3 million gold for ERP. That was hilarious. That kind of thing pretty much happens to me only when I'm on Moonguard. So, like, those are the people that come out from, like, Goldshire, you know, looking for love. I thought it was funny. I didn't take them up on it, but I thought it was funny. And a little sad, too. The fact that you would pay somebody 3 million gold for ERP. It reeks a little bit of desperation and loneliness, and I feel bad for the person. See, where? Reading the chat again. Let's see. The reason I don't like Worm Rusted Cord, though I still play Horde there, because there's just more people, is that on Moonguard, the assholes and the loot people are really usually up front. True. You know someone wants to fight you, / doesn't like you, / wants to F your character, and you can just move on easy. On Worm Rusted Cord, I've consistently seen open denial anyone is like that. Yeah, I hear that a lot. And yet I see it all the time, and people lean heavily on implied consent when asking for RP. So they'll say, hey, I want to RP, you're interesting. And then you find out after that they wanted to RP with you to be dirty. And never actually got your consent for that in the RP. Because you agreed to RP. Ah. Yeah, like, well, you guys have seen this, you know, with me on stream, how many people whisper me, and they don't, I think this did happen on Worm Rusted Cord, but, like, they don't, it was Worm Rusted Cord, I remember it, I was on Amma, you guys actually seen this happen, where this person's, like, you know, implying that they want to RP with me, and I just kind of coaxed it out of them, like, what kind of RP? And they wouldn't, like, openly say ERP, but I eventually got them to admit, without actually saying ERP, that it was ERP. And everybody on my stream was, like, watching while I was interrogating this person. So yeah, you are right, that they do try to be sly about it, and they don't want to openly say that that's what they're after. But, you know, that's what they're after. Some players will bend over backwards to make a scene work even while someone is clearly in it for the point. I just tell people straight up, I'm like, you know, like, if that's what you're after, like, sorry, I am not interested. Especially while I'm streaming art. And then the funny thing is I let them know I'm streaming, and it's like, do you know that everybody in my stream chat is, like, seeing you being a perv? And sometimes they get really terrified by that and they just run away. And other times they don't stop, they just keep it up, you know? Like, some of them have no shame and they don't care. But I'm like, you know, just letting you know that you're on a live stream right now. I mean, I might not have, like, a lot of people watching my stream, but I have a few people watching my stream. And they're seeing you perving on my character, so you might want to stop. Yeah, so. Honestly, every time that does happen while I'm streaming, I think it's hilarious, and I'm always looking forward to the reaction when I tell them, like, do you know that I'm streaming and people are seeing you live right now? Because I want to know, like, how horrified they're going to be. It's funny. See, I think the people who won't say no just because they agreed to RP anyway and try to make it work are really unfortunate. It's even more to unpack than the people who are sly and pull people into RP they don't want. but not in the manner they're wrong or anything. It's more I feel bad for them. You have a right to say no. Oh, absolutely. Like, you should never be pressured into doing any kind of, like, role-playing you don't want to do. You have no obligation to someone if you don't like what they're offering. Exactly. What I find weird is that I swear I've watched a rape scenario nearly play out. Like, why do you have to fight so hard to make it seem like this is not that? Just get a better RP partner. Actually, I know I told you guys on stream before that somebody tried to do that to my character in Orgrimmar. Like, they tried to grab Amma and literally, it was like an orc. He tried to grab her and pull her away and pretty much do just that. Like, just rape her right there in public in front of everybody. And people actually jumped to her aid in character, and they all, like, just destroyed this orc. And then he ran away, and he was on, like, a level 1 character, too. I was like, who does that? That was nuts. Did the stream freeze? I mean, there's nothing moving on my screen right now, so. I was just reading the chat, so like if it looked like nothing was happening, it's because I'm slow and I'm just reading to see what you guys are saying. Oh, the voice cut out and Amma stopped moving. Oh, okay. Hopefully it's fixed. I think Moonguard might be insane. Both of them, Moonguard and Warm Restocord. My thing is that, like, in role-playing communities, it doesn't matter where it is. Whether it's on a forum, or it's in World of Warcraft, or Second Life. I've been in a lot of role-playing communities for a lot of different things. And you're always gonna have your batshit crazy people. In any role-playing community. You're gonna have your weirdos. You're gonna have, you know, the people that are RPing cub furs or being rapey or RPing insects that are shedding their exoskeletons or people who are like 1,000-pound blobs. I've seen it all. I have seen it all. I've seen people who RP like murderers and they're just trying to kill people's characters. Just all kinds of crazy. But the main thing that you can do is just ignore those people, and if they're actually actively like harassing you or trying to interfere in your roleplay, then you can just block them so you don't have to see their chat. And that's pretty much it. Because it's a thing among role players. Like any creative endeavor, you're always gonna have your weirdos. And all you can do is just try and ignore the weirdos, you know? Just pretend that they're not there. And that's how I get through. Let's see, let me just check in the chat again. They all have Moonguard ults. I love that, Savannah. Like, we don't fuck, we don't harass people, we don't do anything like Goldshire, says the Pandaren with an incredibly descriptive Fuda TRP. That's great. Right there in Orgrimmar. On Wormrest Accord, right next to you denying this. Oh, hi, Chumpette! You always come in when we're having the best conversations. Like, yeah, on Moonguard people are very open about it, but on Wormrest they try to deny it, for sure. I remember that too, when I first went over to Wormrest Accord. I remember people telling me, like, the RP there is so much purer. People are more into story and character development, and they're not all into ERP like they are on Moonguard. And then, you know, you actually get into role-playing on Wormrest Accord, and it's like, what are you talking about? Have you gone to Silvermoon? Do you know what they're doing there? Like, come on now. Like, Silvermoon is literally just Goldshire for the Horde. Granted, the Silvermoon on Moonguard is definitely Goldshire for the Horde. And there are some really disturbing people in there. Like, really disturbing. One was this dude who would walk up to people and ask them to do this silly emote because, well, specifically for, like, Blood Elf females. Like, he wants them to do this silly emote because they wiggle their butts. And he came up to me and asked me to do that. Like, can you do this /silly? You know? And it's like, just keep doing /silly for 8 minutes while, you know, I whack one out. Like, you are disgusting and a creep. Man, I logged off so fast, let me tell you. I tell you. Like, I don't think I've been back to Moonguard Silvermoon ever since, because that person creeped me out so much. Like, I will not go there anymore. At least Wormrest Accord Silvermoon, people, like, they just do fairly normal RP from what I've seen. There isn't too much weirdness, but Moonguard Silvermoon has a lot of Fudas and all kinds of stuff. Just weird people. Let's see, let me check the chat here. Moonguard Horde is PvP, RP, PvP focused, 90% guild event RP only, which explains why there's barely any Moonguard Horde RP out in the open world that I can ever find. I was a Silvermoon RPer, but I RP'd unlike the rest of the wallflowers there. Oh no, the stream's frozen. Oh no. Let me know if anybody else is having issues with my stream. Like, is it lagging for other people or freezing or doing anything bizarre? Also, I am going to go to the bathroom, so I'm going to be right back, guys. Hola, I am back. I drank much coffee, so I had much food. Alright, let's see. I gotta find a good spot here where I can sign my name and then do the sketchy shading lines, and then I will send Bootfist the simple sketch before I do the deluxe shading, because I like to save 2 copies. And then we will get into the deluxe shading. One thing I will say about WoW, even when it's had a crappy expansion, the music is usually always pretty good. You know, my favorite track from World of Warcraft is actually The Legend of Yulon from Mists of Pandaria. Like, I love that one. When it gets right near the end, when it builds up to the climax of the song, it's like amazing. Actually, I'm gonna find that one specifically to play for you guys. I have that on my playlist. Let me open it up real quick. Let's see, we go into Miss Pandaria OST. Here it is. Oh, The Wisdom of Yulon. There we go. And let's play it. Oh, hello there! Are you working while you're lurking? Good to see you. Been a while. We're just having a Vulpera-filled day right here. And I'm just playing my favorite World of Warcraft track from Mists of Pandaria. Nice silhouette. Thank you. Yeah, basically what I do is I create this as like a base because it helps me with just making quick and easy selections. And also I could use it for the deluxe shading too when I get to that point. But right now I'm just using it so that I can select just the character so I can do my little sketchy lines and not go outside the character. That's the plan there. Biffle. Biffle. We have a Biffle visitor. Aww. Oh, now I have a Biffle. Oh, he's a Biffle. Oh, Kiseki no Umi. I bet you I could get away with playing this one and YouTube wouldn't care. Oh, it's a Biffle. We interrupt this commission for Bibble who wants pets. I think Bibble wants in. You want in? Yeah, he's hungry. He's a little hungry. Aww. Yes, he wants her dead. Aww, Biffle. He's a little purr kid. Yes, a little purr. By the way, you guys would absolutely love to know the translation of this song. Like, Kiseki no Umi is literally my most favorite song of any piece of music that's ever been made. And like, when I looked up like what the actual translation was of this song, it just made me love it even more. I will look it up for you guys since I have Bibble on me and I can't like draw right now. Let's see. Kiseki no Umi lyrics. So we're gonna like play the song again and then we're gonna tell you what the translation is because I think you guys would like that. Maybe not, I don't know. So Record of Lotus War, for those of you who don't know, is You know, it's an anime from the 90s that is basically your fantasy anime. It's like D&D in anime form. Okay, so you know what Record of Lotus War is. Okay. One of the best fucking animes ever. Okay. Yay! All right. Well, then you guys know. Okay, good. Yes. So I'm going to play Kiseki no Umi again, and I'm going to read you the English translation of the lyrics as the song is playing so you can see just how awesome this song is. Okay, here we go. You're gonna love it, guys. Like the English lyrics, it's like, ooh, so beautiful. The dark night sky separates us to lay bare our hearts as they call out to each other. Cast off your useless trappings. Some things can only be seen when you've lost everything. So that's the first part. Oh wind, I will stand and face you. I will go to the sea of anguish, though bonds cut my chest, and the crushing waves are endless. And that's the second part. Alright, on to the next verse. What does everyone seek by fighting? Does spilled blood cause flowers to bloom? Until the precious tomorrow is in my hands. Until the day we meet. O wind, I will stand and face you. I will go and head for the brilliance, embracing prayer to my heart. I wander the seemingly dark future. You guys are gonna love this song as much as I do now. Alright, final verse. O wind, I am not afraid. Love is the miracle I have found. It's my joy to believe in you. The storm blows so that we may realize our love. So there you go, my most favorite song ever. That's it right there. My number one most favorite song that I've ever heard in my life. Like, I know there's a lot of music in the world, and I don't know why, like, this song specifically is, like, the one, because I know most people, if you ask them, like, what is your number one most favorite song, they wouldn't be able to give you an answer, because they, you know, we all love so much music. How can you possibly boil it down to just one piece of music, right? But I have decided that Kiseki no Umi is my number one favorite song. So there you have it. Now I have to go feed a bibble, so I will be right back. Oh, hi. Sorry you came like right as I was going AFK. Here, I'll put it back on the artwork. But yeah, I gotta go feed my cat, so I'll be right back. I'm back! Oh my god, you guys should see my YouTube chat. I have to screenshot this for the server. Oh, this is funny. Yeah. I don't know if that anti-furry person is still watching. Hello, anti-furry from YouTube. I'm talking to my people on Twitch. I have a lot of furry-loving folks here in my community. So, they can't see or chat, but I showed it to them. I screenshotted it for them. and one of them says, "Sir, that's a Vulpera. Sorry to tell you. Suffer." So to answer your question, that is a Vulpera, which is from World of Warcraft. They're little fox people. And that's what I'm drawing. But yeah, they probably left because, you know, I was AFK and nothing was happening on the screen, so they're probably not there anymore. But if you are there, feel free to chat. Everybody in my Discord is having a ball right now. Gasp, a furry! No! How dare you draw one on YouTube? Shame, Emily! Shame! That's what people are saying in my Discord right now. Oh, look, we got somebody else from YouTube! Oh, wait, okay. That's Savannah. I bet they're expecting you to respond. You didn't, and they left. I know, right? Well, now you guys can hop in the YouTube chat, and if they come back, you can, like, give them what for. I just thought that was too funny. Like, I come back to my computer and I just see, like, messages from somebody named Anti-Furry. I'm like, oh man, you're, like, in the wrong channel. Like, you're watching the wrong stream, because I draw a lot of furry characters. Like, I myself am not, you know, into the furries. Like, I don't have really furry characters, and I'm not, like, super big on it. But I don't mind drawing them, you know? And I don't mind, like, chilling with you guys and chatting with you guys and being friends with you guys, because you're all a cool bunch of people. Like, just because it ain't my cup of tea doesn't mean I'm gonna hate on it, you know? Woohoo! Thank you for the subscribe on my YouTube. See, that's one thing that I do feel bad for, you know, people that are in the furry communities, because, like, furries in general, anybody who's into furries gets a really bad rap by, like, non-furries. You know, there's a lot of people who just don't understand. Like, they don't understand why people like anthro characters. And they just think that everybody who's into that is, like, some kind of weird, you know, freak or something. And they get the wrong idea, and they think that, like, everybody that's into anthro characters is, like, also into, like, bestiality or something. Or weird kinky fetishes. But, like, most of the time, while yes, there's always going to be you know, people in every fandom that are into like really weird stuff. You know, most people that are into furries, like people that wear fur suits and just love furry art, like they're really down to earth people and they just really enjoy, you know, anthropomorphized characters, you know? And they're not like going out and buying My Little Pony stuffed toys and augmenting them, you know what I mean? You know, they're not like that kind of weird, freaky person. They're just normal people and they just like what they like. So, yeah, whenever I see people who are like openly hateful and like demonizing furries, like I will defend you guys because I know, you know, you're not. Whatever they think you are, you're probably not. Like most furries I've ever known have been really chill, nice people. Like I'll say, you know. And when I went to Comic Con, they were always like super friendly. Like they'd come up to my table, they'd have their little like furry conga line. You know, everybody in their fursuits doing a little conga around the room. And they're just having fun. Like they're just, you know, nice people and they're having fun and they're really friendly and cute. So I have no problem with them. The only ones I don't like are the ones that are actually creepy, like the ones that ruined that rainforest convention, you know, the ones that like wear diapers and leave dirty diapers on people's cars and they're like actually causing trouble and causing damage, and you know, the ones that just get drunk and high and do all kinds of illegal shenanigans. Like those are the kind of furries that I definitely would not like, you know, because they're just behaving very badly. But unfortunately, it's people who act like that that have like kind of given the entire group like that bad perception, because people see, you know, incidents like rainforest and they're like, oh man, furries must be a bunch of, you know, degenerates because they wear diapers and they you know, cause millions of dollars in damages to property and they're all just a bunch of crazies, you know. But like no, in general, they're not like that. The extremes tend to create the impression, sadly. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's always the weird ones that draw all the attention, and then they make like everybody who is not furry or doesn't understand furry culture or, you know, hobbies or whatever, they see those people and then they just think that's all of you, you know. Like, no, not every person that likes furry stuff is into cub furs or diapers or fetishizing My Little Pony or, you know, whatever, any other number of things. Like, do not lump them all together. So at least you guys know that with me, you do got somebody who will stand up for you. Even if I myself am not, like, into the furry stuff, you know? Like, I can appreciate that you love your characters and that you like what you like and that this is an aesthetic that really jives with you. Like, I could appreciate that because I have the same kind of obsession with elves. Like, why? Like, most people be like, well, elves are pretty boring. They just are humans with pointy ears, you know? Like, maybe so. Although in World of Warcraft, at least, the elves are, you know, you have all different kinds of elves, so there's like a little bit of variety in how they look, you know? But yeah, like, I am definitely just absolutely obsessed with elves, so y'all could think I'm some weird nerd too, you know? But I like what I like. I like my elves. Especially Nightborn. They're my favorite. And yeah, as a result, I have way too many elf characters. But I don't mind. And I'm probably gonna make more, so we're not done yet. Can never have enough elves. And also, thank you to all you guys who subscribed to my YouTube channel. I don't really have like a lot going on YouTube. Someday, when I'm not being a lazy butt, I'm going to actually attempt to use like footage from all the streams that I've been doing over the past 2 years. Or I guess now 3 years? Wow, it's been 3 years. Oh my gosh. So I'm gonna actually try and use the footage to make like YouTube videos. Probably like just, you know, video blog type things where I just record a new audio on top of the footage and I speed up the footage to make it like a speed painting thing. So, you know, a stream that took 6 or 7 hours will be, you know, boiled down to like maybe 15 minutes, because apparently the YouTube algorithm likes videos that are like 15 minutes long or longer. So maybe like 15, 20-minute long videos. These will be, the footage will be sped up, and then I'll just talk about like, you know, whatever, I guess. Whatever happens to be on my mind. I'm gonna try not to talk about like anything that could be offensive or controversial. I'm not gonna talk about anything that is like current events, like reviewing cartoons or anything. I'm pretty much just gonna stick to talking about what I know the most about, which I guess is art and being an artist and stuff that artists can relate to. So it's gonna be mostly like art related stuff. And I guess I could also talk about like World of Warcraft or, you know, the things I usually talk about. Just stuff that interests me. And then hopefully, you know, that'll grow some kind of a following on YouTube and maybe get some more people to join the Discord server and, you know, grow the community even more. Because right now, like, a lot of artists and a lot of streamers, they do rely heavily on YouTube to, you know, grow their channels and their communities. So I just, my main problem is I hate video editing. I really, really do. It's so tedious and confusing and time consuming. And that's really the only thing that's been stopping me from making YouTube videos. Because I just hate the process of editing footage. Oh. If I had a lot more money and I could hire somebody to like do it for me, like I would just write out whatever it is I'm going to talk about and record it, and then they can edit the footage and throw it all together. I'd be like, I will pay you to do this for me. But I am not quite there yet, you know, where I can actually hire employees to help me with the onerous tasks that I don't want to do. But yeah, like, video editing is one of those things I really hate. I just do not like doing it. But I know that if I want to succeed and I want to actually grow as an artist online, I have to put out YouTube content. So, because that's just a way to get more people to follow me or find me and know who I am. And that's what every other artist does that's, you know, successful. So pray for me, guys. Pray that I will learn the patience to be able to edit videos. Grant me the strength to edit videos. Like, I'd rather go to the dentist and just have my wisdom teeth pulled out than edit videos. But, you know, it is what it is. god, I love this song. Oh, it's so good. Wrath of the Lich King. Oh, good music. Still my favorite expansion. Actually, I have a question for you guys. For anybody who's listening, because I know I muted my mic for a bit because I'm just like thinking. But if I was going to make like a YouTube video, like just a video blog or, you know, a just chatting sort of thing, do you guys have like any topics or questions of something you'd like me to make my first video about? Like, is there any topic you'd like to hear me talk about? Just to kind of give me ideas for, you know, video content. Because it could be anything, you know. It's hard for me to come up with ideas too. I'm like, oh man, like if I gotta talk about a topic for like 15 minutes for the YouTube algorithm, what would I talk about? Maybe as an art peer, you could talk on how you approach story character design. That would be cool. Like as an artist, writer, or peer. Okay. I like that. That's actually really cool. I'm gonna think about that. Maybe like while I'm drawing right now, I'll like just spitball it, and then I could like go back in the footage and like take notes and refine what I'm gonna say. Like I'll say this off the top of my head, what I think, and then when I go to like actually make the YouTube video, I'll like, you know, actually have a written out script where everything is more thought out, you know. Because when you're live and you're streaming and you're just, you know, shooting the shit, you say whatever comes to mind, and it's not necessarily like perfect, but I do like that that train of thought for like a topic. I think that's pretty interesting. Talk about the settings you like to follow, how you handle lore. Talk about your process, your character design concepts, how you come up with story beats. Alright, so... Okay, so the way I usually go about RP, like when I'm actually in the mood to do it and I have the time and my mind is in the right creative headspace, usually I prefer to do one-on-one with people, and I like to do my RPing in Discord because I like to be able to actually write out fairly lengthy posts. And in World of Warcraft, you know, even though they have like the, you know, elephant add-on and tom and all that stuff so that you could write longer posts, you know, people in the game typically write like short little, you know, paragraphs or a couple of sentences, you know. So I'm the kind of person where I could sometimes write a very big novel-sized post. But usually it's for the very beginning, like when you're laying out your setting and everything. So typically I start out by thinking, okay, what is the kind of story that I want to have? And, you know, I'll admit, like, most of my stories typically just involve, you know, some kind of generic adventure and then romance, like just characters meeting and getting to know each other and falling in love, and then having all kinds of like dangerous and scary things that they have to face together. Like, you know, scourge invasion or, you know, whatever, cultists, like some kind of life-threatening, horrible thing that the characters will have to face together. But it helps them, like, in their bond. So my favorite kind of role plays are like a romance novel, basically, because I'm just a mushy gushy lover of just your good old love story romance. And usually it involves elves. So, like, you know, like the story I'm writing that's on Instagram is, you know, Amalthera falling in love with the night elf mage Viserion. But like, not like on top of having the romance, I also have other characters, and I have side stories and, you know, all kinds of other dangerous happenings, you know. So it's not like just Amma and Viserion getting to know each other and falling in love, but there's like other plots and whatnot. Because the romance is just a piece of the whole picture. Like, it's an element that I like to have in the story, but it is not like the entire story. So yeah, usually I find somebody, when I find an RP partner, you know, they have to kind of want the same thing. Like, we just want to have characters meet, get to know each other, have adventures, fall in love, eventually like get married, have kids, whatever. It's like playing house, but in role play. So I know that sounds corny, and that's probably not something that, like, you know, a lot of you RPers, you hardcore role players do, but that's the kind of role play that I enjoy personally. So there you go. Shameful to admit, I suppose, but I'm just a sucker for romance. So when I come up with my characters, you know, I usually think about, okay, like, say I want to play um, a blind elf, or I have this character, she's like deaf and mute, stuff like that, or I just have characters that are like, one is a paladin and she's a captain of an airship. I like to come up with many different kinds of characters, and in my role plays that I've had going now for the past 3 years, I have well over 100 characters, and they span everything. I play males, I play females, I play old characters, young characters, I play the characters' children, whatever. I play NPCs. It's pretty much like Dungeons and Dragons. It's a full world, and I like to have long running stories that go on for a while, but the stories, like a real novel, they change over time. Like, you go from plot to plot, your characters get through an arc, and then the story evolves and changes. Time goes by, characters grow and evolve and change. So it's like, even though, you're RPing the same characters for many years, you're having many different adventures and many different stories. So this is why I only have 2 role plays currently going, because the posts take a long time to write. So, whenever I do get to roleplay, I have to put a lot of thought and effort into what I write, because we have a lot of very big scenes, and oftentimes these scenes have multiple characters. So a lot of times I'm writing a scene that might have like 4 or more characters all in the scene at once. So, like, when I do write RP posts, they are very involved at times, and sometimes it could take me like an hour to write them up. So, like, this is why I'm not too satisfied with like role playing in WoW, like in game, because I don't get to be that like in depth where I can write a big scene with multiple characters and NPCs and actually move a story along in a direction that's kind of predetermined. And that's the other thing. I do like to discuss with my RP partners exactly what we're going to be doing with the story, because I find that it's a lot harder to do a role play that's completely organic and off the cuff, like just, oh, whatever happens, Like, I actually do like to, sit down with my RP partner and talk out plot ideas and come up with, like, scenarios and kind of hash out, like, what are our goals for this story. So, like, when I was starting my RP with Solzen, I told him, like, my goals for Amma is that, like, someday she wants to like get married, she wants to have kids, she wants to have a house and gardens, and she wants to kind of like retire from being a rogue and just live a peaceful, normal life as, a civilian woman. And that is kind of like her biggest driving goal, is she's tired of being an assassin, tired of the bloodshed. So we managed to make all of this happen, and, it took 3 years to get there. But it finally happened. So Amma and Talant are married, and now they have a son. And they live in Suramar at his estate. And right now they're going to be going to the Dragon Isles to just explore an adventure. So, like, Amma finally got, everything she wanted. She has love, she has family. But one thing that did change that I did not expect is that she didn't retire from the Silver Moon Shadowblades. In fact, she's actually kind of come to accept that she likes doing what she does because she likes to help people. So, like, throughout the RP, our characters would be going up against, like, death cults and they fought a Nathrazim, and they fought like a bunch of demons, and you know, just all kinds of things. They went to the Shadowlands, to the Maw, and you know, Amalthera started to realize that like she doesn't just need to work as an assassin for hire, you know, to make money or to just do kill contracts for people, but like she could actually use her skills for good, to save people, and you know, to make it so that there can be a world where she can have a family and other people can have children, and their children will be safe and can grow up and like, you know, live lives full of dignity and whatever. So now like her whole goal in life is to keep fighting, but to fight for things that actually matter to her. And now that she has a child, especially, like she's gonna do everything she can to make sure that her son gets to grow up and like live a good life. So yeah, Amma didn't hang up her daggers. She didn't quit being a rogue, you know. But she definitely found a new meaning in it. So this is kind of like, you know, what happens in my role plays that I do, the ones that go on and on and on. Is we have many characters, many side stories. So like if you get kind of tired or bored with one story, you can just, you know, put it on the back burner for a while, and then you could just move on to some other characters and explore them and just have fun, you know. So that's why we have like 100 characters and like at least 2 or 3 different storylines going at any given time, so we can just jump back and forth, you know. And that's how I've always roleplayed. So yeah, let's see. Let me check out some of the other questions. When you design the character, and also welcome back, Babone. Enjoy your bath. So Savannah asked me some cool questions because we were talking about like me making YouTube videos, and you know, the videos need to be at least 15 minutes long for the YouTube algorithm. So we were like, okay, well, what would I talk about, you know? So he was giving me some ideas for like what would be an interesting topic. So one is like, maybe as an RPer you could talk on how you approach story, character design as an artist, writer, RPer, talk about your process, your character design concepts, how you come up with story beats, the settings that you like to follow, how you handle lore, etc. So for settings, when I do my World of Warcraft RP, usually where I'm either in Silvermoon or Stormwind or Suramar for most of my settings. And then of course we also adventure to other places, like depending on what the dangerous enemy is. Like we'd go to Jadenar and Felwood to fight this warlock and, you know, death cultists. And outside of Suramar, you know, in different places in the Broken Isles, we'd sometimes go to Dalaran, pretty much just all over the place, you know, wherever our characters are needed, we go, wherever the story takes us. And we do try to abide by World of Warcraft lore for the most part, but like we do bend the lore a little bit for our stories. So I'll give you an example of this, and this is probably gonna like drive you absolutely crazy if you're really a stickler for lore. But like my undead mage Irium, like for years I've RP'd it as like she is a master alchemist, and she has been searching for a cure for, you know, being undead and making elixirs that are able to make her look like she's alive again. And finally in the lore, loud police sirens! finally, in our story, she has concocted a potion. It's like a super healing potion. And essentially what it did is over time, like she's been drinking this potion like every day for years. And over time it's actually restored her organs and her blood, and her heart just started beating again. Like it's completely repaired the damage to her body, her heart muscle, and her vascular system and everything. So, like, she essentially has been drinking this elixir for so long now that it actually rejuvenated her body enough that she's essentially alive again. So now I know that, like, that's bending and breaking the lore. Like, obviously there's no cure for being forsaken or being undead. But in my story, after many, many years of trial and error, Irium finally found a way to at least make herself somewhat alive again by living standards. Like, her heart beats, she has blood that's fresh and flows, and, like, you know, that's it. And this is my RP, and I can do whatever I want, so if it upsets anybody, well, you know, too bad, it's my story. But, like, that's what I mean about, like, you know, bending the lore a little bit. Like, I will do stuff like that in my stories because I can. And my RP partners are cool with it, so. But I wouldn't do something like that in game because, you know, people would probably have a hissy fit. Like, you can't make your Forsaken drink a healing potion and be alive again. You know, add to the fact that, like, she's been drinking this potion for years and it's been a very slow process. This wasn't, like, overnight. But anyway, is the furry hater still in chat? I do not believe they are. They haven't said a single word, you know, since that incident, so. That's bull. I know someone that played a Death Knight that came back to life. Yo, was there a furry hater? What'd they say? I did post a screenshot in the general chat in the Discord. If you guys want to see, just scroll up a little bit. So it was somebody on my YouTube chat, and their name was Anti-Furry, and they wrote, "What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?" And that was the only thing that they wrote, so. So yeah, they disappeared though. I don't think they stuck around because at the time I was like AFK feeding Bibble, so. Alright, now we go get an idea for the toning here. Keep the kite layer. Shading. So basically I'm going to keep this layer, and I'm going to just erase out the really light patches of fur and use this as like a base shading. The only answer is, it's a Vulpera, fucknuts. Yeah, usually on YouTube, I almost never get people that like pop into my streams and in my stream chat. Like, half the time I don't even think I have any viewers on YouTube. So, like, I don't have a lot of subscribers to YouTube and stuff, and I don't know, like, if YouTube really picks up anything that I'm doing half the time, so. But occasionally we get some people, I suppose, like this dude. Let's see. So yeah, to summarize everything I just said, answering all of Savannah's interesting questions there. Most of my RP that I do usually just involves romance. So just, you know, characters meeting, having adventures, falling in love, all that good stuff. Like a romance novel, you know? And yes, there is ERP. Don't judge me. But it's not all about ERP. Like there's actually, like we actually have plots. We have story. And we have many, many, many characters, many, many adventures, go to many locations, and there's just all kinds of stuff. And that's why I say sometimes I have a scene where I'm RPing like 8 characters all at once, and we actually, sometimes we pull out the dice and even use the D&D like rule books, and we do like RP battles. Like when we had to fight a Nathrazim, we made it like a Dungeons and Dragons boss fight, and used like D&D rules and mechanics and stuff. So like our RPs do get, you know, pretty involved. It's not just a smut fest 24/7, in case anybody's wondering. I mean, there's plenty of smut, but there's also like lots of other story and plot. So I will give myself credit there. It's quality. And yeah. Now you did mention like designing the character from an artistic standpoint, and I didn't really talk at all about how I design my characters. Mostly because I feel like I am super duper vanilla and boring about most of my character designs. And what I mean by that is I don't really go too crazy with customizing my characters beyond how they look in World of Warcraft. Like, most of the time I create the character in WoW and I'm just like, I make them look exactly how I want them to look, and they look exactly the way they look in the game. And that's it. I do have one character though that is different from like her in-game appearance, because I want to do something different. And again, maybe this is like breaking the lore and maybe this will freak some people out, but I have a character named Aliceth who is half Kultiran and half High Elf, and she is a druid. So yeah, let me pull up a picture of her. So she is very custom. She's not a character that I could actually make in the game. But her father is a Kultiran and her mother is a High Elf. And she has the, you know, Kultiran druid abilities. So yeah, like y'all can get mad about that. Like, elves can't be druid. Well, you know what? Mine can. So she's got antlers and she's adorable. And look at how cute she is. So this is Aliceth. So yeah, this is one character where I did get custom with her. Because, you know, I can't make her look like this in World of Warcraft, obviously. And believe it or not, she actually came from originally Elder Scrolls Online. Like, I had her, she's a Bosmer, a wood elf. So she already had the antlers and everything. And I liked her so much that I decided to bring her into World of Warcraft. So I don't usually play characters like that where, you know, I make them super custom. But for Aliceth, I made an exception. And I think she's awesome. So there you go. But yeah, like, usually when it comes to designing my characters, it's nothing overly ornate, nothing special. I typically don't give my characters, like, a gob ton of scars. I don't give them a bunch of tattoos or custom piercings or custom hairdos or anything like that. Like I said, I'm pretty boring about that kind of stuff, you know. Just like I make them in the game, and I just like the way they look, and that's it. I'm super boring for being an artist. Surprise, surprise, you know. Feral and Nova are my lore-breaking characters. Yeah, because Feral is like half Saberon, which, you know, obviously is something that doesn't exist in the game. And Nova is a dragon. So, is she a full dragon? Oh, okay. But yeah, it's like, it is hard to play like those kind of characters in the game because people will freak out. Like, oh my god, you can't be this, you can't be that. You know, I would even go so far, like, if I really wanted to, I would be like, I'm gonna be a blood elf druid. Like, what are you gonna do about it? It's my RP. Because people be like, they can't be druids, no. Like, well, if night elves can be druids, why can't blood elves, or high elves, or nightborn elves, or any elves for that matter? You know, like, I would think that every individual character is different, you know, and some of them could connect to nature better than others. And just because of, like, what their race is, they shouldn't have any reason why they can't connect if they really try very hard, you know? So I was like, I know, like, blood elves are more, like, into arcane and, you know, magic and stuff like that. So, like, for them, connecting to nature is, like, supposed to be really difficult or something. But, like, I say, why not? Like, what if you have a blood elf character, like, say a blood elf hunter or something that has, like, you know, animal companions, and they're always in the woods, and they're super duper naturey, and maybe they're, like, a little socially awkward, but they connect so much more to just, you know, plants and animals and nature. Why couldn't that character learn to become a druid and connect to the Emerald Dream and all of that? You know, like, I think about things like that when I'm creating my characters, because I do, you know, like to kind of go against the grain and create something that's not in the game, because to me it's more interesting. So when I was like, ooh, half Kultiran, half high elf, and since Kultirans can be druids and Alice's father is a druid, why can't she have learned as well how to be a druid? Just because she's not a full-blooded Kultiran? So, yeah, I have a lot of fun doing stuff like that. And I also do like to play, like, some of the exotic characters, too. Like, I do have a harpy character. And, you know, I try to figure out, like, how to make them interesting and really think about, like, because in World of Warcraft, the lore of these characters, like harpies and all that, is a little iffy, you know? So I like expand on it. I'll make up new stuff. So, and also I like playing Syads. Like, we have literally an entire freaking refugee colony full of just Syads. Like, succubi and incubi, just a whole, we literally have like a whole community of them. And again, I know WoW lore basically plays it out like they just love to torture and torment, and they're super sadistic and vile and violent and whatever, but it's like, They don't have to be that way, not in my story. So we have ones that basically, you know, now that the Legion is gone and they're, you know, we have ones that aren't warlock, summoned by warlocks. They're just kind of like left behind. And they're just trying to live their lives, you know? Like, they know that they're hated. They know they can't just, like, walk into Alliance or Horde territory because they're still demons and people still hate them, but they're trying to, like, get by. So that's another kind of thing that I do in my stories. I play sexy demons. And they're fun. So much fun. And they also have a lot of babies. And I know that probably breaks the lore too. It's like I don't know if Blizzard's ever said that they can't breed or whatever, but in our stories they do. They have children. And they're adorable. So, don't judge me! The way we play it out is that the incubi are like super duper rare. Which I think is also true in the lore of WoW. Like, I feel like incubi are pretty rare. I guess. I don't know. But, yeah. So, like, our little sanctuary where the Syads live, there's only, like, 2 incubi and the rest is the succubi. So it's, like, 2 guys and they're basically siring all the children. And boy, are they making babies. Yeah, they're trying to like recreate their entire society, essentially, like regrow a whole new world. Because we're basically saying that whatever planet they were originally from was probably destroyed by Sargeras before they were pretty much forced to serve him. At least in the story that I got going, that's how we're framing things with the Syads. That they were pretty much like corrupted and forced to serve Sargeras and twisted over time. But these ones now that are remaining after the whole Burning Legion thing, they're just, you know, trying to see like, well, what is our purpose now? Like, what do we do, you know? So yeah, that's a thing. That's one of our stories. Like I said, we have many side stories. So we have our like succubus, incubus, Syad sanctuary side story. Then we also had a side story with this warlock that pretty much went completely rogue, and he was just like kidnapping people from their villages and like sucking their souls out and using like blood magic and stuff to basically get stronger and extend his life. So our characters had to kill him, and then we had to deal with a Nathrazim, and then we had to deal with death cultists who are trying to purposely kill people to send their souls to the Maw for the jailer. And now we did a time jump, so our characters are about to go to the Dragon Isles and just adventure. But we're still kind of stuck in the Wintervale scene. We always do a Wintervale party every year for the characters, so we're currently still at the Wintervale party because my RP partner has been really, really busy. Like, since December, the RP has pretty much come to a crawl. So if I get like 1 post a week at this point, like, I guess I gotta count myself lucky, you know? But when our characters are all done with Wintervale, they're gonna be going to the Dragon Isles, and I have absolutely no idea what's gonna happen next. But it should be fun. So yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. I think I answered every question. In great annoying length. Oh, she's not a dragon. She's cursed. Oh. Okay. Yum, 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 yum. I got green tea. Also, welcome back, Baboon. Hope your bath went well. Man, I love the Mists of Pandaria music. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, by the way, guys, quick announcement, because it just popped into my head. So tomorrow is gonna be one of those days. You know how my Thursdays are usually cursed? Well, tomorrow I have like 4 different things, like appointments and stuff. And they're not even all my appointments, but basically, my dad has a cardiology appointment and he wants to do some grocery shopping. And Mike has a counseling appointment, and I have a weight loss class. Literally all back to back to back to back. So like from 11 a.m. until, I don't know, like maybe 3, I'm gonna be busy. So like I do intend to stream tomorrow, but if I'm like too wiped out from running all over the place doing all this stuff, I might postpone the stream for, you know, like Saturday or something like that. And it's just one of my personal art streams, you know, like the WoW Chibi project or whatever. So I just kind of want to give you guys a heads up, just in case, because like I'm old and I don't have a lot of energy. So when I have like a really busy day like that with all that running around and doing errands for people and all those appointments, you know, I might just be like, ugh, I don't feel like drawing today because I'm too tired, you know? So we shall see. Wait, oh, this is actually for Thursday, not tomorrow. Today's Tuesday. This is for Thursday, sorry. So, yeah, Thursday I may or may not stream that day. Tomorrow I will be starting my next commission, which originally was scheduled for February, but because I finished Savannah's commission in 1 day instead of 2, that gives me like room to bump up another commission. So the Axolotl Axel commission has been moved up from February to tomorrow. So yay! That means that I can take on, you know, another commission for February. So we're making good progress, getting everything done, staying on schedule. Also, I did post an announcement this morning just to like remind people that the raffle is ongoing. So until I hit, you know, the $40 mark, I can't draw a winner. So that'll just stay the way it is for, you know, however long it's going to be. But just kind of like throwing that out there to let people know that if they do want to buy a raffle entry for a chance to win a deluxe sketch, that is ongoing. Normally I would draw the winner on the first day of the next month, so February 1st I'd draw a winner, but like until it hits the $40 mark I can't draw a winner, so it's just going to be pretty much open for entries until we hit our goal, basically. So yeah, just letting people know. It's $5 for an entry and you can win a deluxe sketch, which is what I'm doing right here. Deluxe sketch. And otherwise, I think that's pretty much it, announcement-wise. So yeah, Thursday might not stream like usual, and raffle. There you go. thought this was the pet battle theme. I didn't know the pet battle music was Warcraft 2 Horde theme. But, you know, I've also never played any other Warcraft game except for WoW, so I wouldn't know. Set up and pitch shifted. It's all Warcraft 2 songs. That's cool. I actually had no idea. That's really neat. Alright, guys. I do declare that this deluxe sketch is done. And with that, I will be ending tonight's stream. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. And I will be streaming again tomorrow. It's going to be a very different commission than what I usually do. It's going to be a chibi axolotl wearing armor, maybe wielding a sword or something. I don't know, I have to like hash it out with Kara, so look forward to it. It's gonna be really cute. So have a good night, everybody, and see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.